What's happening, Jeep fam? Welcome back to another one. Today we are going to be doing a how-to on to build a mobile shower unit for the Wrangler. I am doing this DIY style because I don't want to spend $500 on some other products out there, which I'll get into those as well in a little bit. But we're gonna make one ourselves and put it on top of the Wrangler, so when we go out to Pennsylvania, we have a mobile shower unit, and when we travel everywhere else, we can also use it to put out fires and stuff. Hopefully, obviously not a forest fire, but our own fires for camping and stuff like that. So with that being said, let's get into it. What's happening, y'all? We are here. We got everything ready to roll, and I'm doing this in the garage because out there is windy as all get out, and it's just gonna be messing with the mic. But let's get into it. So this is everything that you're gonna need to do a mobile road shower to put on top of your Wrangler or roof rack or anything it'll go on top of or on the side of or whatever. First off, you're gonna need some sort of spigot that you're gonna hook your hose to. And this is what I'm using because I cannot find a ball valve, a normal ball valve with an end that will fit the hose that I'm using and also a quick disconnect. And that's the other thing you're going to need is a quick disconnect that will connect to your hose and also be able to leave one side on and take the other side off. This is a fluid-filled pressure gauge. It goes up to 60 psi. I only went to 60 psi, even though the piece of PVC I'm using is Schedule 40 and it can do, I think it's like 166 psi. If I'm wrong, don't quote me on that. Do your research. But liquid filled, a lot better for vibrations as it's going to be on the outside of the Jeep. This is a ball valve for my air supply so I can put pressure to the piece of PVC. Speaking of the PVC, I have a stick of PVC right here. It is Schedule 40. The next thing for mine, what I'm using, is a piece from Rhino Rack. It's Conduit Clamp. This is the system that I have that's going on top of my Jeep, which is right here because it goes right into my roof rack. And the hose, obviously you're going to need a hose. I decided to go with a expandable hose. It's about 7 feet long. It expands out to about 15 feet. And then it also comes with a nozzle end as well. And I'll link all this stuff in the bio, everything that we're using. Then you're going to need a tape measure, obviously, to measure how long you want your piece of PVC to be. I am using these flat caps for the ends of the piece of PVC. You could use this style, but with the flat cap, you're going to have more surface area to actually mount your fittings, which is this and that. And then obviously you need some PVC adhesive. I'm using a Sawzall to cut the piece of PVC. You could use a hacksaw, handsaw, doesn't matter. And then for my Rhino Rack system, it is a 13 millimeter socket to tighten that bolt and also those two as well. And then a 13 millimeter ratchet or wrench. It's a ratcheting wrench to tighten this side. And then some thread tape, or you could do the actual glue itself. And I am using a rubber mallet to make sure the caps are fully seated because this I am going to take up to approximately 30 to 40 psi to make sure we have really good water pressure because we are going to be taking showers with this, but we're also going to be doing our dishes with that water system as well. Now with all that being said, you don't have to do and use everything I'm using. You could use totally different things, but this is the stuff that I'm using, and this is the stuff that I decided to go with. I might change some stuff here and there, but as of right now, this is what I want it to be like, and it's going to be on top of the Wrangler. So with that being said, if you've noticed, I have a Jeep Fam Overland shirt on. As we all know, if you watched the live earlier today, I did a little live unboxing this. We have some more samples coming in. I am going to be changing this. I'm bringing this logo down slightly. The same thing with the logo on the back as well. I'm going to bring that down slightly. And we are testing, if you guys have been active with us, we are testing some new fabric For the women's line, it's a 92% polyester and 8% spandex blend. So the wife seems to love it, and that's great. But with that being said, if you want to see and get some of our merch, head over to our merch line, which is in the description below, and check out our entire merch line, from where we have t-shirts, hoodies, socks, leggings, coffee cup, everything. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mount these up on top of here, and I'm going to be choosing to mount them directly over top of the feet. That way the weight will be evenly distributed directly onto the feet, which is distributed right onto the backbone system, which is inside this back panel of the Jeep top. So let me get these on and I'll show you how they go together. So the way this works is this is the base, and these are the, whoa, man down. These are the little feet that go in there with the bolts, and it fits into this slot right here. So this is gonna drop right in, slide it down a little bit, and you're gonna tighten these down, and these will spin inside here and tighten itself onto that groove that's in there. And then this piece will sit just like this, and it'll fit perfectly. Now the way that works, if you were gonna mount it going this way on the back side of the Jeep, it would work that way. But for me, since I want it to run the length of the vehicle to have a longer tube, I'm gonna have to mount it this way, which means I have to remove one of these bolts and slide this in like this, and it'll distribute that weight across that whole platform, and this will still tighten down nice and tight, and I won't have any issues. Now if I wanted, the way I have it sitting right now is the way I'm gonna mount it. If I wanted to bring that out slightly and have the piece of PVC hanging out a little bit farther to the outside of the vehicle, I would turn it around and mount it this way. But since I want as much of the weight inside of the vehicle and not to be sticking out as far as it possibly can, I'm gonna mount it this way, and we're gonna get this snugged up, and then we're gonna get the front one mounted. I am very sorry for the wind. It is incredibly windy today, but I gotta get this video done and out for you guys. Now what we're gonna do is I put the back cap on and put the piece of PVC up here, and I made sure that that was as even as I could get it with the back of the roof rack, because I'm gonna have that spigot coming off here, and I can always make this shorter if I have to, the piece of PVC, but I can never make it longer. So I'm gonna go to right here, that way the spigot kind of hangs off here. And what I'm gonna do with the front of this, I'm gonna make that even with the front of the roof rack as well, and I'm gonna cut that, mark it right there. So I got my pen. Got my pen right here, or well, permanent marker. As you guys can tell, I'm a Milwaukee fan. Milwaukee, if you're watching this, hook a boy up. Just saying, I use everything. And because this has kind of a rough edge on it with a lot of that shavings from me cutting it, I'm gonna grab my small file. I'm gonna file this down nice and smooth and make sure I have a nice smooth surface for that cap to sit onto. So now we got this all deburred and everything. We're gonna throw some purple primer on it. We're gonna throw some cement on there, and then after the cement, we're gonna throw that cap on and make sure it's nice, good, and seated. And we're gonna do the same thing to the other side as well. All right, now that we got the primer on there, we're gonna hit it with the cement right here. Get that all goomed up in there. And I kind of want to make sure this is a lot. Not a lot, but I want to make sure it's fully coated, because this is obviously going to hold water at a PSI rating. I'm going to grab that rubber mallet, give her little tappers. Make sure that is very, very well seated. Let her cure up, because I am going to be putting approximately 30 to 40 psi into this, which is nowhere near the maximum rating for Schedule 40 pipe. Schedule 40 is about 166 psi, I believe, which I believe I said earlier in the video. I should probably check that to make sure, but I will. So we're going to move over to the other side, get the other cap on, and then we're going to start drilling some holes for our connections and stuff like that. So stay tuned. All right, y'all, we're going to mount this gauge first. It is a 0 to 60 psi gauge. It is fluid filled, as you can see. That'll help with vibration since it's actually going on top of the Jeep. I want a gauge that's actually going to be fairly accurate, because I'm only going to go to about 30 to 40 psi on this, but I still want to keep it around there because I don't need a lot of psi to, you know, take a shower or to be doing dishes and stuff. But also I want it to be accurate because I don't want to go over that because there's no reason to. But also I do know this goes up to a lot higher psi rating, but 30 to 40 psi is probably going to be about as much as we're going to need. So we're going to take a drill bit. We're going to drill a hole right in here, and then I'm going to put some thread tape on there, screw that in, and that'll be mounted, and we'll move on to the next thing. So I'm going to throw some thread tape on here and tighten that in, and it'll be fully completed. Make sure you are putting the thread tape on the correct way. So the tag end's right here, and I wrapped it around this way, so as you turn it, it'll just keep getting tighter on there. It's not going to unwind the thread tape. So right there, it goes right back into the threads that it made. And I didn't go all the way in because I didn't want to end up being a loose fit. I'm probably going to have it sitting like this, so that way I can see the pressure on there. Or maybe we'll turn it up. Well, I'll probably turn it up to give me the best. I'll probably leave it up like this because I'm going to have my pressure gauge sitting here, and then I'm going to have the air inlet sitting here. And then down here, I'm going to have the quick disconnect, and, well, I'll have the spigot sitting here. And then the quick disconnect will just go on just like that. And then this way, I can pull this right off if I need to. But I can also unscrew it, and it'll just be that while we're cruising down the road. All right, now we're going to drill the hole for the spigot, which I'm going to put about right there, and that'll give me enough room to turn it on and off. So I'm not 100% sure if I do want it there. I might decide, instead of putting it here, to put it on the other side and just do the air system on this side, which sounds like a really good idea now that I'm thinking about it. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I'll just put this on. It's just a quick disconnect. This is a Type C. You guys don't need to have a Type C. There's Type M, Type D, Type like R, all different kinds. But all of my fittings that I use are Type C. It's the blue color. It's Color Connex. And I'm going to use this. I want to put a ball valve here because that way I can shut the pressure off, and then I can have this sitting here. And that way when I disconnect my air supply, I don't have like a big old spray of water when I disconnect it. It won't be much, but I still don't want that. So I would love to be able to put this here, but unfortunately, as you guys can see, I need an adapter. So, and since this piece is smaller than that, I'm going to put this piece in there now just so I can test everything. And I can always make that section bigger, so I'm not really worried about it. And if you guys aren't sure what size holes you're supposed to be drilling, for this one, I drilled a 1/2 inch. For this one, I'm also going to drill a 1/2 inch But if you guys aren't sure, take a scrap piece of wood, drill a hole through it with whatever bit that you're gonna attempt to use, and see if that fits in there snug, or if it just drops in. Obviously, if it drops in, make your bit smaller. If it's snug, it's usually perfect. If it's too snug, you can actually make it a little bit larger. So I'm just gonna kind of roll with it and hope she goes in there. And make sure you go nice and slow like that, because if you go fast, you can bust through the back side, and that's what you don't want to do. You want it to have a nice, good seal surface all the way around. So make sure you go nice and slow through there. And that is kind of drops in there a little bit, but it will be a nice snug fit. So I'm not worried about that at all. So that is also a half-inch hole that I drilled for that. If you have a bit slightly smaller than a half-inch, I would go with that, and it should be pretty snug anyways. But I'm gonna put some thread tape on this as well, screw this in, and this will be all set and ready to test. Again, make sure you're putting the thread tape on the correct way, so as you turn it, it rolls the tape up, so that way it doesn't unravel as you're trying to put it in there. So we got this started in. I'm going to use the 3/4 inch wrench to tighten this down all the way and make sure it's nice and snug and seated. I have a feeling that there's 2 stray dogs running around. I don't know if you guys can hear the dogs barking, but they're not happy about it. So we're going to tighten this down pretty close to bottoming out. There we go. And when I decide that I'm going to switch this out so I can put this ball valve in, obviously all you got to do is just drill that hole a little bit bigger and we'll be good to go there. But with this piece, being there, I actually had to run down to the parts store because I went down to O'Reilly's and picked up this little C Color Connex series, because for some reason I have a kit that's like 3 times that size and I don't know where they are. So of course we have to buy more. But this is the end that will just slip right into here, pull that collar back, locks right into place, and then the airline hose will come here and you'll fill it up, watch the gauge, get to 30 psi, and then once this is on here, I'll be able to shut that pressure off and then pull that collar back and take that piece right out, take the air hose, put it back in the Jeep, and everything will be good. And we'll have pressurized water system, so it'll be good to go, and a very accurate gauge. All right, y'all, we got this pipe flipped around. We're gonna drill a hole to mount the spigot on this side. We're gonna mount it low as possible so we can have as much water as we possibly can out of it. More than likely, we won't be sitting at perfectly level anyways, so I'm gonna try anyways to make sure I'm kind of angled up so most of the water will sit towards the back, because this part with the spigot will be towards the back of the vehicle, so I can connect the hose fairly easily and not have to worry about anything. But we're gonna drill a hole. We're gonna drill a 1/2 inch hole, and then we're gonna take this step bit and we're gonna enlarge that hole to the size that we need, which is right here. Got a ways to go. Definitely do not want to overshoot this, because then we're gonna have to break this cap off. We definitely don't want to do that, and that is like almost right at the bottom of that pipe, which is absolutely perfect. That was kind of a shot in the dark, but we're obviously going to rinse this out. Oh, that's going to be perfect. So that's just starting right there. So what I'm going to do, because I don't have a bit that is probably about an inch. So since I don't have a bit that's an inch, I'm going to take my file and I'm going to file this nice and smooth, and then I'll be able to screw this in, because as you can see, it kind of goes into place. It's snug, but it won't, there we go. It won't keep going in past this section of lip that's on here. So I'm going to take my file real quick, file that down nice and smooth, and we'll fit that right back in there. All right, we got the spigot up in there, and now all we have to do is attach the quick disconnect to there, and we're good to go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to head out to the Jeep, and we're going to put this up on top of the Jeep, test fit it. I'll show you guys how it goes in there, but then we're going to paint it black. The reason I'm going to paint it black is because the black is going to absorb a lot of that sunlight to make it to the point where we have hot water to take showers with, which is what the wife is really excited about. So with that being said, I'll see you guys out by the Jeep. What's happening, y'all? It's a couple days later. I was putting it up on top of the Jeep, and Brooke asked me, she goes, well, how are we putting water in it? I said, oh, it's the spigot on the front, the same way water comes out. Hook a regular garden hose to it, fills it right up. Then I got to thinking, well, if I'm putting water in it and there's no way for the air to escape inside, it's automatically going to pressurize the system. But what if it pressurizes the system and I don't get a full tank and I can't put any more in? So we went to the store, got a little 1/4 inch ball valve with a male 1/4 fitting to a male female 90, and that 90 we're gonna put on right here, and that 90 is gonna come up, it's gonna have that fitting, and then it's gonna have that ball valve, and that way it'll sit at the very top. We'll be able to open that ball valve when we go to fill it up, make sure it gets all the air out, make sure it's completely filled with water, shut that ball valve, and then we can pressurize the system. Now, we can also, what that aids with is if we don't have, say something happens with my onboard air system where I can't pressurize the system, I can open that ball valve and I'll still have that gravity feed from it without it trying to compress the piece of PVC, which obviously probably wouldn't happen, but that's another aspect to it as well. I'm not really happy how tall that is going to be, so I'm still kind of thinking about it before I start drilling holes, but stay tuned and we'll see what we can do with it. All right, so what I've decided is, because I put this together, which is our 90, our coupler, and then our ball valve. I was trying to find a ball valve that had a male end on it so it could just screw into here, or have a 90 that has 2 male ends on it, but I couldn't find one. That's why I have to have that little coupler in there, which unfortunately makes it taller, which I'm not happy about, because obviously if you're off-roading, or like, you know, back in Michigan when we're driving through the trails, we have some pretty tight trails with trees. So if this is sitting up here like this, we could possibly you know, be driving through and have a branch come hit this and then, you know, break it off. So what I'm going to try to do is I think I'm going to mount it like this off to the side. So that way it comes off to the side. It's still mounted up super high. And with the amount of water that's going to be going in, and when this, because this valve will sit like this, so that arm is going to be inside as well. And when we open the valve, it's going to be sitting out here like this. With the amount of water that's going in, it should be able to still keep up and still fill the entire system without having any issues. There will be water that's coming out of here, so obviously, you know, I'm going to point it away from the edge of the Jeep where I'm at, so as I go to fill it, it's not spraying water at me when I'm trying to shut the watering system off. But with that being said, let's drill a hole and get this thing mounted. All right, y'all, we got this thing suspended. We got all the ends taped off and making sure that they won't get covered in paint. We're gonna spray paint this thing black. We're just using a simple Krylon Fusion all-in-one. It's a satin finish, so it's not gonna be any shiny thing or anything like that. Doesn't need to be. Now the reason I did such a light coat is because I want it to be evenly coated, and this is just going to be the start. And then I'll slowly get a little bit heavier coats, and heavier coats, but y'all know how to spray paint. Come on! She's getting there. Got a few more coats and she'll be good to go. Alright guys, we're on top of the Jeep. We're gonna get this tightened down. I showed you guys how to do this already. And all it is just a matter of trying not to scratch your awesome paint job that you did, that I already did. Scratch already a bunch of times. Until it's nice and snug and it looks even all the way around, you should be good to go. I got tape still on the valves and stuff, but I'm gonna unwrap it. But I'm gonna unwrap the tape in a little bit and put this valve down further so it actually lines up where I want it to. We're gonna head up over to the front and we're gonna get the front secured in, and then we'll be good, and we'll unwrap the tape and be all right. We just got the front one secure and everything, so we're gonna unravel the valves and test everything out. All right, y'all, there she is, all ready to go for our trip to Pennsylvania. We got the kids running around playing. Still kind of nice out. This side we got the air system and the pressure gauge. And then over here on this side we have the shower spigot and the pressure relief valve, basically, is what I'm going to call it, because I'm going to open that valve and allow pressure to come out, as in the form of air, because I'm going to be filling it from there as well, because it's a normal garden spigot. So it works out great. I'm going to go grab the hose and hook the hose up and show the wife what we got going on. They're ripping around. All right, y'all. It's a few days later. We finished the build for the mobile shower system, and basically what I wanted to get into is what I spoke about earlier. Is the reason I wanted to do it that way, DIY style, is because of the simple fact of these off-road mobile shower systems for overlanding is incredibly expensive. I'm looking at one right here from bizrate.com, which actually comes from Walmart of all places. It's an off-road solar shower tube. It's 11 gallons. That's $489. Now, the main one that I've seen most of the time is from Road Shower. It is a Road Shower 4L, which is 4 liters. It's 10 gallons, but that's $669. You can get a cheaper one of the same style, just like that, from Amazon, from Yakima. It's a Road Shower, but it's only 7 gallons. But that's $558.95. Now, the system that I see a lot of people going into with their like their teardrops is a Joolca system, which is Joolca. Their systems start out at for a hot tap essentials kit, it's $299. For a hot tap nomad kit, it's $519. Now, this system is not a mobile water shower system. This is a on-demand hot water system powered by propane, which we might add to our system later on for when we do some winter-style camping and such like that. But this is not something that is going to have water for you available. You have to... It's a shovel?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
5?
no.
No. You want to sit up here and do a video with me?
No.
Okay. You gonna watch Blippi again?
Yeah.
Okay. Love ya. So with this system, I see a lot of people say, oh, well, why don't you just get this, It's not a mobile shower system. You still have to have water to put into that, and then the propane heats that water, and then you have hot water. So that system obviously won't work. Now, with all that stuff, those are great products. But I am not going to spend $600 on buying one of those systems when I can do it so much cheaper and hold the same amount. So with that being said, guys, like, if you guys want to buy these systems, more power to you. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to keep it cheap. I'm going to do it my way, the way we built the entire Jeep as it is anyways, is doing it our way. So with that being said, if you guys see, this is the print all over shirt from our merch line. If you guys want some merch from Jeep Fam, head over to our store, link in the bio, and check out our entire merch line. And don't forget, we have an entire 4th of July line. I have the list right here that is dropping May 15th. We have 25 plus items dropping just for July. You guys need to go check that out. It's going to be an awesome line coming out for 4th of July. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching, and we appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Rewind. Thanks for watching, and fuck, shit, man. I fuck that up every time. Thanks for watching. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Thanks for watching. What the hell do I want to say?
Hurry up, I gotta make pop.
Thanks for watching. Fuck, what was I gonna say?
You need subtitles or what? Like,
Probably. Shit.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate your support. There we go. Thanks for watching, and we appreciate your support.